Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining us virtually this week. We continue on the next page with a mashup of Shabbat Shalom and Dodi Li. Dodi Li is a song that comes from the Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible, that says, "My beloved is mine and I am my beloved, a shepherd among the lilies." Blessed are you, beloved, who shows me the way and accompanies me on the journey. May I live the days unfolding with compassion and foster faith in the one who is all. Enveloped in your light, may I be a beacon to those who are in search of light. Sheltered in your peace, may I offer shelter to those in need of peace. Embraced by your presence, so may I be present to others.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu le'adlik ner, Shal Shabbat.
At this point in our service, we think of the week that is past and we hold on to all of the good things that happened this past week. So if you had something that you're grateful for happen, or someone in particular that you're very thankful for, please type that in the comments below. And on YouTube, make sure that you're logged into YouTube so that you can add those comments there. We thank God for all these blessings, including the blessing of simply being alive for this moment in time with the words of Shehechianu. What is love? Love is sharing your popcorn. Love is a game that two can play and both win. Love is friendship set to music. Love is the ability and willingness to allow those that you care for to be what they choose for themselves without any insistence that they satisfy you. Love is, above all, the gift of oneself. We continue with Lechado D, which is a poem that imagines Shabbat as a bride, so we welcome this bride into our midst. Lechado D, Lichad Mikrat Nala, B'nei B'nei Shabbat Mikrat Nala, Lechado D, Lichad Mikrat Nala, B'nei B'nei Shabbat Mikrat Nala, Shamor V'Zachor B'nei Borech Sabbath bride into our lives. Official call to worship the Baruch Hu. Love all creation. Love all God's creation, both the whole and every grain of sand. Love every leaf, every ray of light. Love the animals, love the plants, love each separate thing. If you love each thing, you will perceive the mystery of God in all. And when once you perceive this, you will grow every day to a fuller understanding of it, until you come, at last, to love the whole world with a love that will then be all-embracing and universal. Love your neighbor as yourself, you said, and light-blinded we saw that inner and outer worlds are one as you are one. You spoke and we wrote. We reached for you down the centuries, your light moving before us as we climbed, fell back, and climbed again, your Sinai of life. We continue with the Shema. Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levacha ubechol nafshecha ubechol me'atecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibartam bam B'shivtecha b'beitecha, u'mlechtecha b'derech, u'b'shochbecha u'b'kumecha, u'kshartam leot al yadecha, mehayu leteltafot b'neinecha, u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'b'yisharecha. Le'man tizkeru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'tem kadoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Love God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. We, unaccustomed to courage, exiles from delight, live coiled in shells of loneliness until love leaves its high holy temple and comes into our sight to liberate us into life. Love arrives, and in its train come ecstasies, old memories of pleasure, ancient histories of pain. Yet, if we are bold, love strikes away the chains of fears from our souls. We are weaned from our timidity and the flush of love's light. We dare be brave, and suddenly we see that love costs all we are and will ever be. Yet it is only love which sets us free. Continue with me, Chamocha. is compatible with ours, we join up with them and fall into mutually satisfying weirdness and call it love, true love. Continue with Vishamru.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael, et Shabbat, לעשות את השבת, ודורתם בברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת, ודורתם בברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת, ודורתם בברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני, את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת, ודורתם בברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת, ודורתם בברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת, ודורתם בברית עולם.
Love recognizes no barriers. It jumps hurdles, leaps fences, penetrates walls to arrive at its destination full of hope. Every heart sings a song, incomplete until another heart whispers back. Those who wish to sing always find a song. We continue with the Amidah.
Baruch atah Adonai, Magid Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Yaakov, atah Rav le'Hoshia. Mechalkel chayim v'chesed, Mechayei Yaakov ve'rachamim rabim. Tzomech noflim ve'rofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umechayim emunato, B'shenei afar.
we continue with a quiet moment for personal prayer or reflection. Continue with Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Ki ata
May we find peace with those we love, growing together over time. May we be at peace with ourselves and with the labors that fill our days. May we render peace in our world with wisdom and gentle patience. May we be at peace with the source. Let understanding come our way. Baruch atah Adonai, oseh hashalom. Blessed are you, Eternal One, source of peace. At this point in our service, we think of loved ones who are in need of healing. Tonight, we think especially of Henry Horwitz, Peggy Kohler, Beth Levine, Rabbi Jerry Levy, Jean Sanders, and Sue Shires. If there are other loved ones whose healing you wish to pray for, please type their name in the comments, parentheses, healing. Together with the power of community, we pray for their refuah shlema, their complete healing of body and or spirit, with the words of Misha Berah. It just so happens that this week's Torah portion is the same Torah portion that was read at Rachel's and my Ofra 5 years ago. That was such a special night to celebrate with our Orami family. Amy and Alan Arkava gave a beautiful blessing to us beneath a talit, and everyone showed up with delicious cupcakes to celebrate the sweetness of love. We had long been looking forward to this 5-year anniversary this weekend, but since we couldn't celebrate this weekend the way we had originally planned, I thought it would be nice to recreate some of that beautiful Ofra experience for this Shabbat. So I'd like to share my words from that evening with you now. A few months ago, I was standing in line at the grocery store and my eyes skimmed the row of the usual checkout line magazines One magazine had a headline about celebrities and their stories of love at first sight. As the woman 2 people ahead of me in line was debating with the cashier about using an expired coupon, I figured I had a bit of time to kill. So I leafed through the magazine and read what other people described as love at first sight. All of the stories began with eye contact made from across the room, followed by a witty conversation. Then the stories fast forward to sometime later when the 2 people were a happy and established couple. My own great-grandmother once told me a similar story of how she met my great-grandfather and ended up married 3 weeks later. But I didn't buy it, this whole love at first sight thing. I don't think that feeling, however electric and intriguing it may be, is actually love. That meeting of eyes from across a crowded room is about noticing someone. Love, on the other hand, is about knowing someone. There's a big difference between simply noticing someone and really knowing them. In this week's Torah portion, Abraham sends a messenger to find a suitable wife for his son Isaac. The messenger goes back to Abraham's homeland, where he stops at a well and notices a young woman. The Torah describes this young woman named Rebecca as Tovat Mar'eh Me'od, which is biblical Hebrew for very good looking. We can imagine them making meaningful eye contact across the desert expanse, but this look alone is not enough to convince the messenger that Rebecca would be a good wife for Isaac. Only later, when the messenger interacts with Rebecca, can he move from simply noticing her to starting to know her. The messenger begins their interaction by running over to her and asking her for some water to drink. In a demonstration of her thoughtful character, Rebecca draws water from the well to quench his thirst, and without any prompting, she also offers to draw water for all of his thirsty camels to drink. We can only imagine how much water she drew from the well to rehydrate the caravan of camels at the end of a long journey. The messenger understands this thoughtful behavior as a very good sign. He pulls out a gold ring and 2 bracelets for Rebecca. Then he asks about her background and if he can stay with her relatives overnight. It turns out that she comes from a similar background as Isaac, and she generously offers the messenger a place to stay. Now, the messenger knows that there is potential here. With the consent of Rebecca and her relatives, he brings Rebecca back to meet Isaac. They are drawn to each other at first sight, but it is only after they get to know one another in a profound sense that the Torah mentions love. It says that Isaac brings Rebecca into the tent of his recently deceased mother, Sarah. We can imagine the vulnerability and emotional intimacy of this moment, with Isaac still crying over his tremendous loss. Rebecca responds with her characteristic thoughtfulness, which comforts Isaac. And then the Torah describes how Isaac truly loved Rebecca. My own life parallels this week's Torah portion in the way that I came to know and love Rachel. I actually met Rachel for the first time very briefly at a Simchat Torah service. I initially noticed her vibrant smile and great sense of fashion, but I did not know her yet as we stood somewhat awkwardly by a water cooler, both speaking with a mutual friend. It was only 8 months later that I met Rachel again, when we were both working at a Jewish summer camp in Northern California, that I got to know her. I realized I loved Rachel when I interacted with her each day and really saw the way that she inspired children and teens especially. She was a ball of sunshine that could brighten anyone's gloomiest day. She was and is exactly the sweet, enthusiastic, and hilarious person that I was looking for. Plus, we had a similar background of becoming really interested in Judaism as teenagers, spending a semester of high school in Israel, and then deciding to become Jewish professionals at a young age. As they say, the signs were clear, and the rest is history. Tonight, we are happy to be celebrating our 5-year anniversary virtually with all of you. Thank you for being a part of it. Shabbat Shalom. So, in our original Ofrah service, we were called up to the Torah for our blessing, and we'll just share a couple of the photos from that evening here. We continue our service with Aleinu.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, lateit gedula liyotzeh breshit, shelo asanu kegoyim שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved, and if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be freed. Love doesn't die. People do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. At this point in our service, we think of loved ones who have passed away recently or at this time in years past. Tonight we remember with love Alan Soloway, father of Michael Marsh Soloway, Abuela Napolitano, mother of Jimmy Napolitano and mother-in-law of Erica Napolitano, and the yard sites of Bessie Arcava, mother of Alan Arcava, Blanche Kent, mother of Linda Kessler, and Lee Mark Gordon Woolman, father of Alex Woolman. If there are other loved ones you wish to remember tonight, please type their name in the comments below, parentheses Kaddish. Zichronam Libracha, may their memories always be a blessing. Together as a community of support, we continue with the Mourners Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, B'yama divrach hiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, B'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala v'izman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudasha brichu, le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba mi'shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn, and may we be a source of comfort for all who are bereaved, and let us say, Amen. We conclude our service tonight with the same mashup from earlier, Shabbat Shalom and Dodi Lee. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.